right. Can everyone hear me? Think so? Hi. Good evening. Welcome. Thanks for joining me in your own home. This is Vinyasa Flow Level 1-2. I'm Maureen. I'm glad that you're here practicing with me this evening. Before we start, if you have a couple of yoga blocks, they might come in handy. Something similar obviously would work as well, but if you'd like to have something to place your hands upon to bring the ground a little bit higher for any standing poses, that may be helpful. So let me see, I'm gonna grab my blocks. And we're gonna get started on our mats. I'm gonna have you start on your back if that's comfortable for you. Feel free to use any props that you want to make that more comfortable, if you have blankets, towels, things like that. So once you've settled onto your back, if it feels okay for you to begin with your legs extended forward, go ahead and stretch through the heels so that your legs are straight. If it bothers your lower back for now, keep your feet on the mat, knees bent, and then we'll get there eventually. So just let yourself settle in at first. Do any movement you need to eventually find stillness so that you can allow your body to just become calm. And then once the body becomes calm, notice how that affects your mind. Notice if the mind is also able to become calmer, or if all of the little thoughts start to creep back in once you come to rest. So just taking note of those thoughts that you don't need for now for your practice this evening. Just allow them to just kind of float by. So whatever thoughts that you don't need enter into your vision, just allow them to pass. And then just bring a little bit more attention to your breath. So if you need something to focus on for class this evening, if nothing else, let it be your breath. As you start to explore building your breath, perhaps lengthening and deepening the inhales and the exhales. Let your breath move in and out through your nose. Just finding an evenness to the breath. And on your next inhale, send your arms all the way up to the ceiling, and then reach your arms all the way back behind you. And if you haven't already, extend your legs straight forward, so you're really stretching through the whole body. Arms behind you, heels pressing forward, feet flexed. And then from there, go ahead and draw your knees in to your chest, sweep your arms forward, hug your knees, rock a little side to side. And as you come back through center, holding onto your right knee, extend just your left leg straight forward. So as you really stretch through the heel of that foot, find a nice flex so that the toes are pointing straight up. And as you lengthen through that bottom leg, draw your opposite knee in just a little bit closer to the upper body, just enough that you're getting a little bit of a stretch in the back of that thigh as well, keeping the head and shoulders relaxed. And then switching sides, pull that knee in, hug it close as you extend that opposite right leg forward, and then flex through that heel. And then go ahead and bring that knee in as well. Once both knees are back into the chest, come upright to hands and knees. So rock back and forth if you'd like, roll to your side if you'd like. Make your way onto all fours, setting up in a tabletop position. And then ensure that your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are right under your hips. And then spread through the fingers, rest the tops of the feet on the ground. Start with a little cat and cow. So just working with your breath, inhaling, pulling the heart forward, with the exhale, rounding through the upper back. And then just cycling through cat and cow. Take a moment here. Just decide what you need from your practice this evening. So maybe you're going to kind of work extra hard and do every single thing I offer. Maybe you're going to scale it back a bit, take breaks, modify certain poses. Maybe you're going to choose to use your props, however they support your practice. And just work through the class at your pace. Take an inhale, come to a flat back so you have a neutral spine. And extend your right arm straight out in front of you, reaching through the fingertips. Extend your left leg straight back behind you, now flexing through that heel. And then see if you can get the hips nice and level. If you're not sure, look back to see where your toes are pointing. That's a good indication. If the toes point down, then the hips should be relatively square. And then notice if the belly is sagging. Try to lift the belly up away from the ground a bit more. Draw the navel up to the spine so you're lengthening across the back body more. Take another inhale. And then with the exhale, lower down to hands and knees. And then from all fours, send your left arm straight forward without letting the back body sag. Start to extend that opposite leg behind you. So as you stretch that right heel back, notice if that right hip wants to lift a little further away from the ground. Keep it even with your left hip. And then keep extending in both directions. So you're growing longer with every breath. On your exhale, take it back to hands and knees. From there, keep your knees where they are. Walk your hands about a handprint closer to the front of your mat. Curl your toes, lift your knees up. Come into down dog. And then a few breaths to ease into down dog. So maybe you want to pedal those feet a bit or move around however you like to work out your first down dog. And then once you've kind of worked those little bits of movement out, try to find a still downward facing dog. So as you find this hold, make sure the breath is still flowing. Try to engage your legs as much as your arms. So maybe take the slightest bend in the knees so that you can actually feel the thigh muscles working a little bit harder. They're pressing back. And then your hands are pushing to the front of the mat to keep your torso long, keeping your arms long, letting the triceps wrap kind of in and down towards the mat below you. At the same time, it's like you're just lifting your chest up a little further away from your mat. All right, let's start to move a little bit more. Inhale, take plank pose. Shift forward so that your shoulders come above your wrists. You need to wiggle the feet back a bit. And then lifting the hips up on your exhale, thighs press back, return to down dog. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, coming forward, finding a plank pose. Using the core as you exhale to pull up and back to down dog. Doing that again, inhale, forward. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, shift forward, find that strong plank. Exhale, pull back to down dog again. Then inhale, coming forward to plank, pausing, look forward. Now you're going to shift your shoulders way past your wrists. Take chaturanga to your mat. So knees down if you're modifying, elbows bend 90 to lower all the way in. Stretch the toes back. Push the hands down, pull the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, take a low cobra, squeeze the elbows to the body. Exhale, take it down. Take that again, inhale, lengthen the sternum forward to lift it up away from your mat. Exhale to return back to the mat. Take it again, inhale, pull forward to cobra. First time, just press your hands and knees, then curl the toes, return to down dog. We'll have a chance to work into up dog a little later if you like. Walk your hands back to your feet. Come into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Make sure your feet are parallel, hips distance. And then hang over your legs. Maybe sway or nod your head if it feels nice. Do whatever movement you want to release into this forward fold. And then with your arms released down, bend your knees, roll up to standing one vertebrae at a time. And then once you come upright, roll the shoulders back, turn the palms to face forward. Press evenly into the feet, inhale, stretch the arms out and up to the ceiling with the gaze, look up. And then exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Okay, let's come forward to the front of the mat. We're going to start to move through Surya Namaskar A. So with the feet parallel, top of the mat, hands at the heart, standing nice and tall, moving with your breath. Inhale, float the arms out and up, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, arms out, forward fold, take it back down. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins as high as you need to find a flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, plant the hands, step back to plank pose. Once you're there, look forward, start to shift. Chaturanga all the way to the mat again, maybe knees down, maybe knees up. Then push into the hands, pull the chest forward, cobra, or straighten the arms to up dog. You can always stick with cobra. Exhale, flip over the feet, or press to hands and knees, then return to down dog. Then once you're in down dog, take 3 even breaths. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Rooting into the hands, extending the limbs long. And then looking forward between the hands. Maybe walk the feet to the hands now, or if you like, step, or hop it up, however you prefer to get to the front. Once you're there, inhale halfway up, hard forward, long spine. Exhale, folding down again. Arms out, inhale, take it all the way to stand, raise the hands overhead. Hands to heart as you exhale. Okay, let's take another Surya A, then we're going to start to move through Surya Namaskar C variations. So standing with the feet parallel, inhale, float the arms overhead, reach and stand tall. Exhale, forward fold, bowing over your legs. Inhale, stretch it forward, flat back. Bend the knees, hands down, work it back to plank pose, look forward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, knees up or down. Inhale, Cobra or right to upward facing dog, chest lifts. Exhale, hips pull back, downward facing. 3 breaths, inhales and exhales, matching in length and quality. And then as you bring the gaze forward, maybe lift the heels, bend the knees, step or hop or walk forward. And then once you're there, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Arms stretch out, heart leads the way as you press to stand. Stay tall as you draw the hands to the heart, exhale. Okay, we're going to move through Surya Namaskar C. So standing with the feet parallel, hips distance. Inhale, circle the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, bow all the way down. Inhale, stretch it halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Bend your knees, hands on the mat, step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Find a nice long lunge. Make sure your left knee is above your ankle, and then release your right knee down. Untuck the toes as you inhale, stamp the left foot. Raise the arms to the ceiling, Anjaneyasana, kneeling lunge. Take 2 more breaths here. Try to get as much lift through the upper body, especially the front body, as you can. And try to get the pelvis to come as neutral as possible so it doesn't overspill forward to the front of the mat. On your next exhale, lean over the front thigh, plant the hands. Curl the toes, lift the knees, step back to plank pose. From plank pose, look forward. Shift ahead. Chaturanga as you exhale. Look for skip vinyasas here and there if you need. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, pull back to down dog. Then take an inhale, send your right leg all the way up and back behind you. Take a moment, look at your toes. Flex the foot, make the toes point down, keep the hips square. Then look forward, pull the knee into the chest, like cat's breath, round the back, clear the mat, and step it forward. So if you didn't make it there, use blocks, wiggle it, boost it. And once it's to the front between the hands, take the back knee down. Uncurl the toes, right knee above ankle as you inhale, finding your kneeling lunge. So chest lifts, Upper body rises up away from the pelvis, belly pulls back a bit more, and then let that right knee sink a little further forward so you feel extension of the back leg. On your exhale, lean forward again, hands down. Listen carefully, curl your back toes, lift the knee. On the exhale, step your back foot to the front of your mat. Feet parallel, inhale, halfway up. Fold on the exhale. Arms out on the inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, take the hands to the heart. Take that through the second side. Inhale, arms circle all the way up. Forward fold, exhale as you bow down. Inhale, halfway heart forward. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Left foot goes back first this time. Nice long lunge. Once it's there, settle the knee. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, right up to that kneeling lunge. Raise the arms to the ceiling. Exhale, lean forward, hands down. Curl the back toes. Lift the knees, step back to plank pose. Look forward, lean and shift. Chaturanga on the exhale. Move with your breath. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, send your left leg back. Pause once you reach it back. See that your hips are square. Remember this feeling. Keep the foot flexing. Now on your exhale, look and shift forward. Pull the knee into the chest. Step it through. So blocks can be used to get the foot there if you need. Then take the back knee down. As you uncurl the toes, find your kneeling lunge. Lift the upper body, one more big breath to bend that front knee deeply. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Lift the back knee up. Look forward on the exhale, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Folding on the exhale. Arms out on the inhale, take it all the way to the top. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Okay, pause. About 5 breaths, just standing tall at the top of your mat. Probably all a little bit warmer now, I know I am. So take a moment. Do you feel the hands in front of you? Feel the sternum pull up away from the ground a bit. Feel the feet anchor into your mat. All right. When you're ready, take an inhale. Circle your arms all the way up to the ceiling, stretch it up high. On your exhale, bow forward as you hinge at the waist. Come back to Uttanasana. Inhale, stretch halfway up, heart forward. Now on your exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step your left foot back first to the top or to the back of your mat. So your right foot is forward, right knee above ankle. So for this, you may not have as long of a stance as you did for Anjaneyasana. You can keep the stance a little bit shorter. Make sure the knee is on top of the ankle. You can always bend your back knee a bit. So now, walk your hands one at a time onto your front thigh. Before you press all the way up to crescent, lean forward and straighten your back leg now. So you can have some weight on the hands. If crescent's too much, we have the option to always come back to knee down. If you're taking your straight back leg with me, pull the upper body forward, and then extend your left arm straight forward. So you're doing kind of a half torpedo pose here. So your back leg and your front arm are kind of stretched one long line. Then, if you can, take your right hand off your thigh, hold the side of your hip, put your thumb in your hip crease and pull it back a bit. Reach your left arm further forward. Beautiful. Now as you inhale, bend your back knee, lift the upper body upright all the way. Bend your back knee as much as you need to get your upper body now vertical. Then take your right hand off your hip, slowly raise it to meet the left. So you're in a full crescent lunge. Keep breathing. If balance is tricky, you can always take your hand to something. You can always take the back knee down. See if you can get as much lift in the upper body as you need to by keeping the softness of the back knee but a strong bend of your front knee. Take one more inhale in crescent. And as you exhale, lean it forward, slowly take the hands to the mat. Once they touch down, step back to plank. Choose either a vinyasa or choose downward facing dog. Decide if you need more movement after that crescent pose or you need less. And keep in mind, child's pose is always an option as well. All right. And once you are here, go ahead and look between the hands. Lift the heels, bend the knees, jump, walk, or step to the front. Then inhale, come up halfway. On the exhale, fold down again. Arms go out on the inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, take the hands to the heart. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, arms sweep to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, stretch it up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees. Now stepping the right foot back. So once again, this stance for crescent may not be as long. So you can always take it a little bit shorter if that's easier to get into the pose. And if you need a little bit more space, you can always walk your front foot over to the left a little bit more. If you feel like you're on a tightrope, ideally feet are about hips distance. All right, start to walk your hands to your front thigh. Without lifting upright yet, go ahead and push on the thigh, so there's a little bit of weight there, and then send your right heel further behind you. Pull your upper body further in front of you. And then keep your left hand on your thigh. Stretch your right arm forward. And then do that kind of arm and leg stretching away from one another. Try to reach further out with your right hand and send that right heel further back. Then, if it's okay, take that hand off of your thigh, hold the side of your hip, hug it back. See if you can squeeze the inner thighs together to really activate the legs. All right, now start to bend that back knee as much as you need to. Inhale, upper body lifts, right arm straight up to the ceiling. Take it out wider if the shoulders are tighter. Keep breathing, and then when you're ready, take that left arm up as well. So breathing steadily, keeping the bend of the front knee, keeping that stretch the back thigh. One more inhale, crescent lunge. On the exhale, take it all the way back down, hands on the mat. Once again, choose the vinyasa or choose downward facing dog. All right, when you are ready, gazing to the front of the mat, let your feet come to your hands. Walk, step, or float it there. Then inhale, come up halfway with a long spine. On your exhale, fold down again. Stay folded forward, wiggle your feet all the way together. Make sure there's a little space between the heels, but the sides of the big toes touch. Then start to drop your hips. See if you can roll the tailbone down. Now try to make space between your belly and your thighs, as if you had to scoop the two away from one another by lifting the belly. Then send the arms forward. Maybe drop the hips a little bit more. Sit a little deeper, maybe move the shins further back. Sit 1 inch further into chair, look up. Inhale, press to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, we're gonna move slowly through Surya Namaskar B variation. So, keeping the feet parallel where they are, starting with a brief chair pose. Take an inhale, sit into that chair, arms forward and up. On the exhale, fold it over the legs. Inhale, heart forward halfway. Knees bend, hands on the mat. Vinyasa if you're going there, or down dog if you're not, moving with your breath. Once you've made your way back to down dog, take an inhale, send your right leg back for now, and then do that same thing where you're keeping the hips square. We're working square hips today for a reason. So if the toes turn out, roll the outer right hip down. Roll the inner right thigh up. Beautiful. Then in order to get more clearance to step forward, rise off of your back heel. Try to come onto the ball of the foot, then bend your right knee into your chest. Push the ground away, round through the upper back, step it through. Once the foot gets there, use props if needed. Spin your back foot down 45 so that the heel lines up behind your front right heel. And then once you have the feet set up, inhale, come upright to warrior one. So take a moment, check your alignment, bring the hands to the hips, straighten your front leg. And then if you need more space, if heel to heel is too narrow, you can open the stance. You can go more hip to hip if you need that extra space. Keeping your back leg straight, Try to get the front of the pelvis to lift up a little bit more without the back knee bending. And then see if you can square the hips a little further forward. It's going to be harder with the back heel down. Right. And then send your left arm forward. And then at the same time, start to pull your right hip further back as you bend the right knee forward. Without leaning everybody forward, stay upright. Sink that knee a little further forward, dig the back heel. Raise that arm up to the ceiling. Take your hand off of your hip. Raise that hand up to the ceiling as well. Virabhadrasana 1. You can angle the arms forward here. You can open them wider if needed. Shoulders have to stay out of the ears. Take another inhale in Vira 1. And then exhale, take it all the way down. Hands on the mat. Step back to plank pose. If you're skipping the vinyasa, skip it. If you're going through, one breath per movement. And try to make sure they just don't become kind of flinging your body around in space. So only do the vinyasas if you are doing them mindfully. Take an inhale. Send your left leg back, but lead with the inner left thigh so that the hip doesn't open. It remains even. And then flex to the heel. Press the heel up and back. And then maybe lift that bottom right heel so you can raise the left leg higher. Then when you're ready, look forward, pull the knee in, lift the shin away from the ground and step it forward. All right, once the foot's there, spin the back one down. Line up heel to heel or hip to hip. Back foot 45. When you're ready to come upright, Virabhadrasana 1. Hands on hips. Just taking a moment, straighten the front leg. Give your inner thighs a squeeze together. See if that action helps to square the hips forward a little bit more. It gets things to kind of come off from off kilter a little further to center. And then stretch your right arm forward. So without pitching forward, keep a nice lifted upper body. And then do these actions at the same time. Let your left hand hug your left hip back as you bend the knee forward. So it's two opposite actions happening as you take that bend. Raise the right arm to the ceiling, shoulder out of the ear. Raise the left arm to meet it as well. So maybe you're just keeping your arms straight, they're wider. Maybe some of you are working to press the palms, lift the back ribs up off of the waist. Another inhale. As you exhale, take the hands down to the mat. From here, find a high lunge, then find plank pose. And either down dog or shifting forward. Once again, vinyasa. So take a few breaths in down dog. If you need a little bit more of a rest, take child's pose for a few breaths. Okay, when you're ready to come back into a downward facing dog, stretch the hips back, loop into the hands, and then lift the heels, soften the knees. At the bottom of the exhale, let your feet meet your hands. Once again, top of the mat. Then inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold down again. Lift your feet together. Bend the knees briefly to chair pose. Exhale, sink the hips nice and low. Then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Right. Let's separate the feet once again. So feet coming back to hips distance, staying parallel. So we're going to play around a little bit with Surya Namaskar C, throwing some extra things in the mix just to make it fun. So standing tall at the top of the mat, hands at the heart center. Take an inhale, float the arms all the way up, reach and lift. Exhale, forward fold, taking it back down. Inhale, stretch halfway up, heart forward. Bending knees, plant the hands. Step the right foot all the way to the back of the mat, high lunge. Take the knee down, uncurl the toes. Inhale, arms reach to the ceiling, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, lean forward, hands down. Curl the back toes, lift the knee. Maybe keep the foot where it is, maybe hop it in if you did for crescent. Do this for me. On an inhale, lift the belly off of the thighs, raise your arms forward, find a full torpedo pose. You can always take one or both hands to the thigh if this is too much. Try to charge up that back leg and spin the inner right thigh to the ceiling, keeping the left knee bending forward. Beautiful. Then soften the back knee, inhale, rise all the way up to crescent, arms straight up, upper body lifting. Take one more inhale. Exhale, lean forward. Right hand comes down. Maybe wiggle the back foot further if you took it in a bit. Raise your left arm straight forward. So back to opposite arm and leg. Reach through the fingertips as you stretch the left leg back, or right leg back. Then as you exhale, you're going to twist. Turn all the way over to the left. Stretch your left hand straight to the ceiling. Push the ground away with the right hand. You can also bring a block under the hand. If the twist is too much with the knee up, you can take it down. There's always ways to modify to make it work for you. As you twist, hug your left hip back and in. On your exhale, turn to face the ground. Coming back into a high lunge, both hands down. Step back to plank pose. You can skip the vinyasa if you like, or you can move through the flow with your breath. All right, once you are there, inhale. Right leg goes straight back, hips stay square. Flex through the heel. On your exhale, draw it in, shift forward, step it through. All right, so now right foot is forward. Take the back knee down. Uncurl the toes, starting with kneeling lunge, Anjaneyasana. On the exhale, lean forward, hands down. Curl the back toes, lift the knee. Hop it in a little if you need to. Open the stance if you need to. Try to come right into a torpedo pose. So pull the chest away from the front thigh, raise the arms up. If you need to build it, build it. Hands on thighs always works. See if you can extend to the upper body and send the back heel behind you. Now soften the back knee as much as needed. Try to rise straight up through crescent lunge, keeping a strong bend in the front knee. One more inhale. On your exhale, lean forward. Take the left hand to the ground or a block. Float your right arm forward. Try to reach as far as you can. Maybe wiggle that back left ball of the foot further behind you. As you exhale, take the twist. Let it feel nice. Draw the shoulders back. Yeah, so maybe modified twist if that's better for you. Keep breathing. Keep firming this right hip in. Pin it to center. Draw it back. Squeeze the inner thighs. On your exhale, look to the ground, plant the hand. Look forward as you inhale. On your exhale, soften the back knee and step the foot all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway up, forward fold. Inhaling once again, rise to stand. Hands to heart center, exhale. All right, so keep in mind, we're doing all of that again starting the second side. So take little breaks if you need to, skip vinyasas if you need to. So taking a nice tall stance into Tadasana, mountain pose, top of your yoga mat. On your inhale, float your arms wide, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, take it all the way down. Inhale, stretch the heart forward halfway up. Bending the knees, plant the hands, step the left foot back to a high lunge. Left knee releases, uncurl the toes, inhale, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, forward fold, hands down. Curl the back toes, lift the knee, set up for torpedo pose. Inhale, extend the arms forward, take another breath. Bend your back knee a little or a lot. Inhale, right up to crescent lunge. Exhale, lean forward, plant the left hand. Once again, float your right arm forward, reach in front of you. Exhale, twist open to the right. Take another inhale in the twist. Exhale, unwind from the twist, plant the hand down. Step back to plank. I wouldn't blame you if you stick to vinyasa. Once you are back in downward facing dog, go ahead and send that left leg all the way back. Reach it for the sky. Keep the hips nice and square. Flex through the toes. Shift it forward. Step it all the way up and through. High lunge. Set it up. Back knee down. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, arms to the ceiling. Exhale, leaning forward. Back toes curl. Lift the knee. So when you're ready, find your torpedo pose. So the goal is to extend the upper body forward as the back leg reaches behind you strongly, firing up the back thigh. Then bend the back knee, push into your front foot, inhale, crescent lunge. On the exhale, lean forward, right hand down, ground or block. Inhale, left arm sweeps ahead. Exhale with the twist. Breathe through the whole body, let yourself open up. Exhale, hand back down, facing the ground, look forward, inhale. Exhale, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Arms out, inhale, rise to the top. Exhale, hands to the heart. Very nice, all right. Standing nice and tall. Let's take a little forward fold here. So, arms go out wide, feet are parallel to distance, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, holding all the way down. Once you're in this forward fold, option one, grab the backs of your calves. Option two, if you're able to, wrap your first two fingers around your big toes. You're going to take Hurley. Either way, pull the chest forward, shift a little more weight into the balls of the feet so that your hips are way behind your heels. You want to stretch it forward first. Then as you exhale, pull a little further into your legs. So if you're gripping the toes, maybe bend the elbows outward. If you're grabbing the backs of the thighs, you can do the same thing. So you're just folding forward. Let the front of the head release. And then let your arms hang down. Bend your knees. Slowly roll up to standing. All right, so we're going to take another flow series leading us into Warrior 3. So we've been working square hips for a reason here. So we're going to work our way into a Warrior 3 pose. So if you find that blocks will be handy for you, if you want to place your hands on blocks, have that nearby and near the front of the mat. So I would just say maybe place them like that. All right. So find a nice tall stance, keeping those hips distance feet. Bring the hands to the heart center. Seal the palms in front of you. Stand tall. When you're ready, inhale, float the arms out and up to the ceiling. Reach for the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Take it back to Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale through the vinyasa. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Work it to plank pose, shifting forward, chaturanga on the exhale. Lift the chest up away from the ground. Exhale, downward facing. Right, from your down dog, inhale, send your right leg straight back. Now, take a moment, pause, look at your toes. Make sure they point straight down. Feel that you've adjusted your hips back to square. So the inner thigh up to the ceiling, the outer hip just kind of gently hugs back down towards your mat. Now look forward, shift forward, bend the knee, pull into the chest, push the ground away, step it through. All right, make sure your feet are hips distance, you are not on a tightrope. Then from here, right knee bending, stay on the ball of the back foot, you're gonna come right up to crescent. All right, so starting with that bend of the back knee so that you can get the front of the pelvis upright, keep the inner thighs hugging close. Take your hands to your hips. And then lift to the upper body. Maintain lengthen your spine so that the back doesn't start to sag once we start to come forward. So begin that shift forward like you would for torpedo pose. And now straighten the back leg. Press the top of the thigh up. Spin the inner left leg to the ceiling even more. Yeah. Then bend your front knee, lean further forward. If you're going to do this with blocks, reach forward, grab them, walk them forward. If you want to try it without, hop the back foot in. When you're ready, push into your right foot. Straighten the leg. Start to extend your left leg straight back behind you. If this is too wobbly, take hands to blocks. Or bring your foot to the wall. Then see if you can manually adjust. If you feel that your left hip is higher than your right, wrap it down. Hug your outer right hip back. Send the left heel further behind you. Then if you want, float the arms forward. If that's too much, keep the hands at the hips, hands at the heart, hands on blocks. Try to pull the belly up away from the ground. Microbend your standing knee. Take another inhale. Now as you exhale, lean forward, reach the hands to the ground. Pause. Take a forward fold. So you're doing a standing split variation. Maybe the back heel doesn't lift much higher. Maybe you try to fold further over the legs and raise that to the ceiling. Try to keep the hips square once again. Maybe try to flex the foot. You can also have hands on blocks if the ground is still too far away. Now, start to softly bend your standing right leg. Stretch your left leg as far to the back of the mat as you can. Set it down, come into a high lunge. Now, plant your left hand, ground or block. Float your right arm forward, inhale. Exhale, come back to that twist. At this point, it might feel nice. You can take the back knee down if you want to make it a little softer. Let your chest open up. As you exhale, turn to face the ground. Plant the hand. All right, choose either down dog. If you want the vinyasa, go for it. I'm going to go right to down dog. So keep in mind as we kind of progress to the other side, it may be a little different from one side to the other. Maybe you're going to modify a bit more. Maybe you're going to use some props or even take yourself to the wall if balance is a little tricky today. On your inhale, send your left leg back. And then pause, look at the toes. Try to press to the heel more and lift with the inner thigh a bit more. Then shift forward, look ahead, pull the knee in, step it through. Make sure you're set up properly. Feet are hips distance, not too narrow. On your inhale, come into your crescent. So once again, you can build it up if you need to, or try just coming all the way upright so you feel the back knee. I always keep a bend in my back knee for a crescent. I never fully straighten the leg, because if I try to, it just overarches my lower back and tips my pelvis forward. So I extend through the upper body, I feel more open and lifted. And then I take my hands to my hips, hugging the hips together. Inner thigh squeeze. Then start to tip forward. So it's like a lever. As the upper body leans, the back leg starts to straighten. So it kind of takes it out of the hip flexor and gets it a little bit more into working the thigh muscle. Then extend the chest forward. So maybe you're going to reach for those blocks. Maybe you're just going to start to hop your right foot in. When you feel ready to press up, make sure you feel steady so you can straighten the leg without opening that right hip up. Keep it drawing toward the ground. Flex the toes. If you really want to challenge yourself, look back at the toes, but that may just make you fall over. So keep breathing. And then pull the belly away from the ground, extend through the back heel, stamp the foot back, maybe send the arms forward, or choose a different arm variation. Maybe hands are on blocks because that's better. Square the chest to the ground, take another inhale. Warrior 3. Exhale, slowly lean over the front thigh. Bring the hands to ground or blocks. And fold over that left leg. Maybe raise the right leg a little higher. And then slowly look forward a bit, soften the standing leg knee. Stretch the right leg back, touch it down, wiggle it further back if you need to. Then when you're ready, set up for that twist. Make it a gentler twist. If you want to take the back knee down, turn to the left, open the chest, stretch it all the way up. And then exhale, turn back to your mat, hand down. One last chance for vinyasa if you want it. If you don't, come to down dog. Then from down dog, come into child's pose. It's a nice little reward. So take child's pose, your variation, arms forward, arms back, using props in any way. When you're ready, just walking your hands back towards you, coming upright. We're going to come on to our backs. If you have blocks, consider having one of those nearby, next to your side. So go ahead and come onto your back, lay down, place your feet onto the mat. So before we get into a little bit of back bending, we're just going to do just a brief round of core work. We worked our legs quite a bit on the standing poses. Let's not neglect our center here. So we're just going to do some yogi bicycles. Take your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, cradle the back of your skull. And then draw your right knee towards your chest. And then lift your head and your shoulders, twist to the right, so you're trying to touch left elbow to knee, and then maybe extend your left leg straight forward if that's too much. Stretch it a little higher to the ceiling. And then come back to center, bend both knees into the chest, switch sides. Switch the right leg out, twist to the left, come to center, and then continue with this. So the slower you go, you'll notice it's a little harder because you're not using your momentum to swing you side to side. So take breaks when you need to, if you need to pause and rest the head and come down for a moment. But try to move slowly, like you're moving through water. You have some resistance. So like I said, if you want to make this a little easier, having the legs go higher is just going to be a little easier. If you want it more challenging, you're bringing that heel to float maybe just a couple of inches away from the ground. All right, next time you've come to that left, that second side, come back to center. Stretch your legs straight up to the ceiling. Lift your head and shoulders. Maybe reach forward and try to touch your toes. See how much you can lift up away from the ground. Then see if you can lift your hips up away from the ground without swinging the legs back. And then lower everything down, exhale. Bring the feet to the mat. As you stretch your arms behind you, slide the heels forward and give yourself that whole body stretch so that you're really lengthening across the front body. And then go ahead and keep your arms stretched all the way back so that the backs of the hands are touching the ground. Bend your knees and step your feet back onto your mat. And then keep the feet hips distance parallel. Try to get the feet close enough that your ankles are right underneath your knees. And then once you have that, push into the feet. Keep the arms stretched back. Lift just the hips up away from the ground. So you're coming into this little soft bridge pose with the arms overhead. So you're lifting the back body up away from the ground as you root evenly into the feet. Now begin to lift your hands up away from the ground. On your exhale,
Raise the hands to the ceiling, lower the hips, and then bring your arms all the way down by your sides. So we're just going to do a little dynamic bridge work here. So arms and legs work together. Press into the feet, lift the hips, arms go up and back, touch the ground behind you, hips high. Exhale, hips down, arms rest next to your sides. Do 3 more of those. Inhale, raise the hips, arms go up and back. Exhale, bring it all the way back down. Inhale again, push into the feet. Stretch it up and back. Exhale, take it back to the ground. Once again, inhale, push into the feet, raise the arms up and reach back. Exhale, lower the hips down. Keep the arms by your sides. Make sure the feet are still close to you. Now more traditional bridge. Push into the feet, lift the hips up. Work the shoulders under you, scoop them behind your back. Then either grab the edges of your mat, grab a strap, belt, or towel, or if you're able to clasp the hands with the arms straight, grab and interlace the fingers. So notice the inner thighs now. Keep that same kind of inner thigh rotation in, and now down toward the ground. Take another breath in bridge. Maybe push the feet a little bit more, get the back body a little further from the ground. On your exhale, unclasp. Gently lower all the way back to the mat. Right. So we're going to do another bridge like that. So arms by your sides. Pushing into the feet on your inhale. Lift the hips up, up, up away from the ground. Then once again, maybe clasp your fingers, set them on top, grab something underneath you, or even just grab the edges of your mat. Sometimes that's a really nice variation to really feel like you can push into the arms and get the back body to clear the mat below you. Keep even on all 4 points of the feet. Keep the knees right above the ankles and the feet parallel. Take another inhale. And then exhale, unclasp, and let the hips lower down. All right, I'm going to have us do, if you have that block, maybe you're going to take one more restorative bridge. So if you have a block or something similar to place underneath the hips, you're going to lift the hips up and slide the block under. I like to do the mid-height. You can choose lower if you prefer. If you're doing the highest height, I recommend wedging the 2 blocks together so there's a little more stability. But I always find the middle height is usually a good sweet spot. So make sure it's not getting into your lower back. So this should just be a restorative bridge. The block is doing the work for you. You're able to just rest the back of the pelvis on that block and just keep the arms relaxed. So now would be the time in class that I would bring us to a wall if we were in the studio. You're at home, so you may have a wall space and want to practice any particular inversion that you're working on, headstands, handstands, any variations. Or if you're going to stay here with me on your mat, maybe just take your feet slowly up away from the ground and then raise your legs up to the ceiling. So you're just taking a nice little restorative inversion. So this way you're still inverting, your feet are higher than your hips are higher than your heart, higher than your head. So you're upside down, but in a nice, more relaxing way. And this is also a good way to kind of get the legs that were working so hard for you in all of those standing poses, especially Warrior 3, to get a little bit of a rest. You can also do this if you have that wall space, and you can just do legs of the wall. So just for the next minute or so, not too long, maybe a minute and a half, just choosing any inversion or anything restful that your body needs right now. We're just going to be slowing things down after this, so if you need that last little kind of push and want an active inversion, go for it.
She hid and went
Right, if you are still with me on the block, take your feet slowly back down to the mat. And then lift the hips just a bit, slide the block out, and then very gently, one vertebrae at a time, roll all the way back down into your mat. All right, and then walk your feet about as wide as your mat, and then let the knees draw together. So that's sometimes a nice little way to kind of release the lower back a bit more. Right, and then go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself that hug. Once again, just do that little rocking side to side. And then come back to center. And then hold on to your left knee. Stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. So as you extend through the right leg, left knee hugs in. We're going to take this into a twist. So hold the left knee with your right hand. Pull it across over to the right. And then extend your left arm to the side. Maybe look towards it. If this twist is too much, then just bend the bottom knee back. That's a little easier. If that feels more comfortable for the lower back. The bottom leg extended is a little bit deeper of a twist. So choose wisely. If that's working for you, great. If not, modify. And then go ahead and bring both knees back to center. And hug your right knee and extend your left leg. Slide that heel forward. And then grab the outside of that right knee with the left hand. Pull it across over to the left, taking that twist. And then maybe extend the right arm to the side. So this one, it's going to be very difficult to get both the shoulder and the knee to the ground. I recommend keeping that shoulder anchored and just letting the knee come over to the side and you You're just kind of gently holding the side of the knee or the outside of the thigh for some support. You can also rest the block, if you have a block, underneath the knee in some way if you want it to just kind of hang there. Or like I said, bring the bottom leg in if you want to kind of soften the twist. And then go ahead and bring that back in. And then once both knees are in, place your left foot onto the ground, cross your right ankle over the knee. So you're going to make a figure four. We're going to come into the thread the needle hip stretch. So make sure your right foot stays flexed. That's the crossed over one. And then start by just doing this. Place your right hand to the inside of the knee. And then just move the knee away from you without letting the left hip swing out and up towards your left shoulder. So try to keep that outer left hip moving forward towards your left foot and then pushing that knee away. If you're already feeling an awesome stretch of the outer right hip, you don't need to do anything else. If your hips are pretty open and you want to go further, you're going to lift your left foot up. Then you're going to grab the outside of your left, your left thigh, and then reach to grab the inside of that thigh with your right hand. You can also grab the front of the shin if you need to. Just try to keep this right knee moving away. Keep the right foot flexed. And keep the shoulders relaxed. And then try to get as much of your back body to stay on the mat as possible. So the tailbone wants to roll away from the mat. Try to get it back down as much as you can. Imagine you had to take a little arch in your lower back. See if you can, you won't be able to do it much at all, but that way it'll get more of your tailbone to the ground and you may feel a bigger stretch in that outer right hip. And then release that side, left foot down, uncross, step the right foot onto the mat, and then cross left ankle over. And then before you grab for the thigh at all, just go ahead and place your hand to the inner left knee, and then move it away from you, and then kind of holding the side of your right hip, just kind of push the outer hip forward at the same time. That'll keep the evenness in the hip so you can isolate that stretch that you're looking for. And then maybe stay there, or pick up the right foot, reach for the back of the thigh or the shin, any variation that works for you to get that stretch. And then keep this left foot flexed. And release. When you're ready, place the foot down on a cross. And then hugging the knees in. Once again, you're going to come upright so you can rock back and forth. You can roll to your side, however you prefer. And get that little spinal massage. I like to rock it back and forth sometimes. Right. And let's come up to sit. So I'm going to have you start in Baddha Konasana. So if you need to sit up on something, blanket or anything to prop you up, grab those. And keep in mind if you need for a forward fold that we're going to eventually do, if you need any kind of strap or belt, something to bring you in. Let's start with the heels really close to the hips. So the soles of the feet together, the inner feet are probably a little bit more open. And then before we even think of folding forward, do this. Place your hands behind you and then press to the ground and try to prop yourself up. So if you find that you're hunched forward a bit, lean back with a flat back and then try to let the knees open out a little bit more. And then maybe this is all you need today. If you're already feeling a good stretch, you don't really need to move into a forward fold at all if you're already getting that stretch in the inner thighs. If you want to go a little further, go ahead and grab the inside of the feet or the fronts of the ankles. Try to keep that nice flat back that you created, so try not to hunch forward into it. And then lengthen upward through the crown of the head for an inhale. Now with your exhale, maybe tip forward any amount. You may not need to go very far there. It may be just a little bit of a lean, or it may be further for you over the feet. Stop when you would start to feel that you're just kind of slouching forward. And then if your elbows are close to your knees or the insides of your thighs, you can kind of use them to kind of nudge out a little bit if you want to increase the stretch.
And then as you inhale, let yourself come all the way back upright to sit. Then we're going to do this. Keeping the feet together, we're going to move them a little further away from you. So as far as you can get them so that the feet are still able to seal. So you're creating a diamond shape with your legs now. So this is targeting a little bit more into the outside of the legs, a little bit more into the hips for this variation. And for this, it may be a little easier to sit taller with the feet a little further away. So hold your shins wherever it's comfortable. And then inhale, sit up tall. Let the shoulders draw back and down. And then as you exhale, tip forward any amount. And now maybe use your forearms to nudge your knees out. So this one you'll start to feel instead of the inner thighs, you feel to the outer parts of the thighs and the hips. And then inhale, lifting all the way back upright to sit. Then go ahead and slide the feet all the way out in front of you. And then take a moment, just kind of shift side to side so you feel a little bit more even. This, we're going to do 2 forward folds actually. We're going to do one with our feet hips distance and then the last one with the feet together. So you'll notice it feels kind of different parts of your body, especially in your lower back by having the feet different widths. So I'm just going to turn to the side. So first one, feet are hips distance. Then you're flexing the feet. And then do that same thing before we fold forward. Take your hands behind you and just kind of press into the ground a bit and see if you can find a flat back. So you may be leaning back a bit more in order to get that, or you may be vertical, or you may have a lot underneath the hips to be able to sit up tall. So once you have that flex in the feet, stretch your arms out wide, turn the palms up. Inhale, stretch the hands all the way up to the ceiling. Now exhale, tip forward just a couple of inches. See if you can keep the back body long. Do this, bend your knees just a couple of inches. See if you can find a little bit more length across your back body. Take another inhale, exhale, tip forward a couple more inches. Trying to keep your back flat. Then inhale, lengthen a little bit more. See if you can do that one more time. Maybe just a little further forward when you can't reach any further forward. Then release, straighten the legs. Now let yourself fold in, grab your feet. Or loop something around the feet. You can even grab the ankles or the calves. Just something that you have some leverage to kind of pull you forward over the extended legs. As you inhale, let yourself come all the way upright to sit. Now go ahead and bring the inside of the feet together. So get your legs to be in that little narrow position. Keep the flex in the feet. Stretch the arms out. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Keep your flat back for as long as you can. Exhale, stretching, stretching, stretching forward, reaching past the feet. And then take it all the way down. Once you have a hold of your feet or something else, inhale, come up out of the pose just a little bit, pull the chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold back again. And take maybe about 5 or 6 slow breaths here. And when you are ready, take your time, come all the way upright. And then moving onto your back for Shavasana. So finding our final resting posture. Grab any props you like to use. Pick a shape that's comfortable for your body.
And then once you're ready, lie down. Take a moment to adjust whatever you need to do to get a little more comfortable. And then once you do feel a bit more settled, and you're able to close your eyes and let everything go, just find that stillness, find that softness, find that restful, relaxed posture, and take Shavasana. Begin to awaken your body slowly. Let your toes wiggle. fingers. And once more, stretch your arms up and overhead. Reach behind you, lengthen across your whole body. And then step your feet onto the mat. Gently make your way over to your side, just rolling over to one side. And from there, press yourself upright. Find a comfortable seat. And then once you're seated comfortably, draw your hands together. Once more at your heart center, allow your eyes to close again. Sealing your palms together as you seal your practice. As you inhale, let your heart lift to your hands. As you exhale, bow your head toward your fingertips. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Namaste. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you Thursday.
See you Thursday.